Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joachim Wikland speaking. I hope you all can hear me great. I'm not expecting you to answer that because one of the things that I would really ask you today is to keep the microphone on mute until we get to the workshop. I will explain a little bit more about that. So, Findwise i3 virtual customer meeting, first edition, and it's gonna be an annual event from now on. A little bit strange. I think this is probably the best thing that COVID-19 has brought us, at least here at Findwise. The possibility of running a virtual event like this, the customers of i3 together in one meetup. Some of you have, of course, over the years attended live meetings in Göteborg, Stockholm, for example, talking about i3. But we hope that this event will be, from now on, at least once a year, virtual, so we all can meet up like this. Good. My name is Joachim Wikland. There we go. I'll be hosting this event, and I will get some help, of course, by some other speakers. We will follow up the event with sending out links in the same way you got your invitations from your customer contacts. And that's a great way to ask questions as well. We are going to record the event. It will be edited afterwards, just to be able to send out links for each and every presentation. So the workshop event, I think you can change picture you want. And click one. Yeah, the workshop event will not be recorded. So you can definitely feel free to say whatever you want to at that point. But we're going to start with Johan introducing Findwise i3 and the news since last year's version. We will then move on to Anna and Thomas that are going to present how Allegro is using i3. Christoph is going to take over from there and do a short, in-depth session of chatbots, and especially the Rasa chatbot together with i3. We're gonna look at how Selling Group is using the system. And unfortunately, our main contact at Selling couldn't attend at the late stage. So our consultant and responsible for implementation at Selling Group, Espen, will do that presentation. We're then going to do a workshop for approximately 10 minutes where we have the opportunity to unmute and start talking and thinking a little bit how we are using i3 and maybe connected to the theme today. And finally, Johan is going to wrap this up with giving us a couple of hints on what i3 will consist of in the next couple of months or maybe years, presenting the roadmap. So I'm not going to spend any more time in introduction, but I'm very happy having all of you here, and I'm going to give the word to our product manager, Johan. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's truly great to be here. My name is Johan Sjöberg. I'm responsible for our services and offerings here at Findwise. And since it is Corona times, and I'm right now sitting here in front of the computer in my pajamas, I thought that I'd share a photo from me in my living room instead, and I hope that's okay with you. I've been with Findwise for a pretty long time now. I like to think it's 1 year per inch of beard. I don't know how many years that would make it, but some at least. Anyway, this is the first time that we run this with an international combined audience like this, and I'm very excited about that. But let me start by saying how fantastic 2019 has been. We welcome these amazing clients to our family. And what we see is that, or what we can learn from this is that digitalization is truly independent of industry. Because here we have everything from camping to energy to banking and to healthcare. And it's really exciting, I think, to have these many great names on board in our family of solutions. And perhaps next time, one of you will join me here to talk about your achievements. I think that would be great. We believe that information should be made available to where I expect to find it. But to get there, we stand by the idea to decouple information from where it's stored. Say that we want to make information available to this channel, but in reality, that's not how your systems are organized. So we often talk about the information layer, where we can separate the information from its storage. But then we need to do something with information. We need to present it in a good way. So we call this a presentation layer. And this is typically what we do in the projects that we engage in. We look to see how we can present information in a good way. And to achieve this in a really good way, we need more than competence. I think that we need some pretty advanced technology to be able to get there. And this is where the i3 platform that you all are using comes in. This is our approach to using search technology to solving information problems by decoupling information from where it's stored. And although technology is just one piece of the complete puzzle, it's one that we cannot go without. So real quick about i3, we were founded, we created i3, the first version of i3 in 2004. And we did it so that our developers could create information solutions with an open source search engine. And you got to remember that these were the days that Google, Microsoft, Oracle, and HP each had their own tech stack. Today, none of those remains, as it turns out that this was the winning horse. So today, we are a team of 10, and we are working in an agile way with a Scrum Master and a product owner to make sure that we continue to take i3 to the next level. And to stay ahead of the curve, we are focusing our roadmap into two directions. One is to provide smarter solutions, and the other one is to be able to meet your needs, not only in your own premise, but also in the cloud. And we call these two drivers cloud ready and AI ready, respectively. And I think that over the years, we've been trusted to put i3 into use, or for the benefit of our clients' digitalization journey. And although the goal is the same, the output, as we can see, is really different and unique between each use case. And that's why I think that all our finished solutions are the result of skilled experts that are applying technology and their competence to solve these business needs. And we've seen it really early on that the key to succeed is uh, to have the right competence and give these the tools or the technology so that they can do what they do best. So what's new in the latest versions? We have released i3 2.5 followed by i3 3.0. We have many advancements, a couple of bugs that we removed, and a lot of maintenance tasks that made it easier for us to maintain a good quality. I don't really have time to walk through each of these, so what I'm going to focus on is 3 pieces that are that impacts you. Some of these are a bit on the technical side, and I apologize for that, but I do think it's important, so I still want to mention it. So one thing that has happened is that Elasticsearch has made security available for free, and we have built complete support from this, everything from ingestion of content to when we perform search queries. And it's actually 3 things. It is to prevent unauthorized access to your search engine cluster. It is to keep data confidential, and it is to preserve the integrity of the data so that we can trust that the data does not contain any malicious information. So in short, you can say that it's encryption, authentication, and authorization that has been added to the i3 Elastic stack. And we know that many organizations not only value their data, but also carry sensitive data. And for these organizations, I think this is going to be a really significant development. Then we have a tricky part. This is a second part, and it concerns how we put i3 together. So the i3 team that are responsible for i3, they create the modules that make up the i3 framework. But it's the developer, when starting a project, that builds this framework into i3 together with many of the custom plugins. So that means that i3 only exists in a project, and there are as many versions of i3 as there are projects. So i3 from one customer is slightly different from i3 at another client. And we think that this is no good. So we have made some significant changes so that the i3 team is now completely responsible to putting together the entire i3 framework so that we can guarantee that once i3 is released, it's going to be exactly identical throughout everyone using that version. And this means that instead we have built a pretty solid plugin management system so that if there are custom extensions to i3 needed in a project, these are loaded outside of i3, so we don't actually make any changes to i3. So I think even though this is a bit of a technical thing, I think this is very important for us so that we can better maintain your solution, so that we can easier upgrade your solution, and quite frankly, so that there is less that can go wrong in projects. And I think that this altogether will save you time and money if you keep using i3 over time. And the third part, which is also quite interesting, is that all the search engines are written in Java, and so is i3 also. And this is to ensure the best compatibility. Yeah. So, just like Windows or say your mobile phone in your pocket, it's important to keep it updated with the latest security patches. in i3 before, we used to use Java 8. This had end of life in 2019. And the only way to use it still, Java 8, not i3, is through a paid subscription to Oracle, where you get commercial support and bug fixes. So we have lifted the i3 platform together with the search engines to the latest long time Java version, which is Java 11, that we recommend people to start using. So if you haven't upgraded already, now is a really good way. Now is really good time to start doing that. And with that, I would like to hand over to Anna at Allegro.
Our presentation. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for invitation. And today I would like to present our cases about chatbot in Allegro company. Hi everyone, my name is Anna Gabler and I'm business application specialist in digital workplace team at Allegro. The digital workplace team is focused on improving comfort of Allegro employees and their daily work. The main goals of our team is to provide tools so that our organization can work faster, more efficiently, and smarter. So I'm responsible for intranet, knowledge base, Allegro Assistant, video conferencing service like Zoom, services, and booking conferencing room. So let's talk more about Allegro. Allegro is the #1 online shopping destination in Poland and #6 retail business in Europe. We started in 1999 today, but today it is one of the most recognized brands in Poland. We have 2,500 employees in 5 locations in Poland. And, Allegro Marketplace currently stands for 130 million offers and 130 merchants accounts and over 21 million registered accounts. And we are open-minded about new technologies. So we have a lot of complication with our knowledge base. The situation in our organization, the situation is developing. The organization is developing dynamically. The number of employees is increasing. We currently have several sources of information. In company, we use Post for Insight Plus, Service Catalog, Confluence, Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Sites, and etc. A lot of information sent by technology communication specialist, and searching information is difficult and really, really time consuming. So our employees don't know where and how look for the data. We are wasting time for searching for information, and our employees reach outdated information. So is not up to date. So employees' dissatisfaction and frustration are growing. The information is reproduced, which generates the cost of creating reading and onboarding costs for new employees are growing. For example, new employees are informed about responsibility, process, procedures, etc. in an unstructured manner. So it's difficult to automate process without structured knowledge in our organization. So the question is how to clean up this mess, or how can we improve the search for information in our organization. Recommendation, our recommendation is make a chatbot. There was many ideas and trials. Finally, we decided to start project of knowledge sharing and Allegro assistant. Our aim to make our employees' life easier. So we will implement it centralized knowledge base in the organization. We will guide our college. So our college would like to how and where to look for the information and how to prepare content and where store the content so that it is useful and reusable by others. And as a result, the project will contribute to increase of self-service Allegro, for example, automation, which will survey have a increase growing impact on work efficiency. So make a chatbot. Our history is easy because Findwise company proposed 4 steps for us. The first step is the workshop. We did a workshop with Findwise. We analyzed the structure of knowledge, analyzed queries to our search engine on our intranet, and we decided that people looking for information about our employees, for example, phone number, where is location works, and etc. And second, step 2, you have to choose the technology. We choose the natural language processing engine RASA and application Slack. Why Slack? This can be done in our search engine, but our employees love and really like to use Slack. It's our company messenger. So you can talk with chatbot on the same program or the same application, Slack application. So the step 3 is a MVP. It's developing it's a curiosity because a chatbot hackathon was organized in our company, and one of our programmers worked a simple Slack application in 20 hours hackathon that search our data about our employees. So, for example, what phone number or location or what responsibility for. So we showed the MVP application to our business, who was convinced to invest in a chatbot. And the 4 is the pilot program. With Findwise company, we wrote the requirements and use case together with Findwise. We determined the number of questions that the bot can answer. And we started implementation and pilot program. And Tomek, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you.
So, please
Yep.
show us.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Tomasz Sobczak, and I work at Findwise. I also work together with Anna and Allegro. I'm responsible for sales and key account management. So here you can see a print screen from Allegro chatbot. As you can see, it's translated from Polish to English. As Anna said, chatbot and i3 platform in this case is integrated with Slack Messenger. So, you know, REST API, which is exposed by i3, is integrated with this messenger. Of course, it can be any other messaging tool like Teams or Skype or anything what has API and can be integrated. Anyway, this is how it looks like, and I think that it brings to mind some question-answer pairs, as you can see on the screen. Like someone is asking for someone's phone number, place of work, presence in the office, or saying, I want to settle managed delegation in the middle of screen. Or another question that I want to take vacation, and in the result, chatbot will return a link to the correct form. Anyway, there are other scenarios which I will summarize in a second, but you can also ask. No, okay, the slide is still okay. You know, you can ask who is responsible for ServiceNow in the company, or opposite. You can ask which services employee XYZ is responsible for, and chatbot will return the list of all IT services. So it's true that in most of these cases and examples, chatbot doesn't remember previous question nor answer, because real dialogue, of course, it's quite challenging, and dialogue capability is still something that we are going to extend in the future. However, currently chatbot is able to keep context in employee scenario. Like Anna said, employee scenario was one of the most important. So we created dialogue in terms of, you can, for example, I'm in this screen, I'm asking for Anna Gabler phone number, right? This is first question. In the next question, I'm asking about her workplace or address, as you can see on the top. So as you can see, I don't need to repeat her name again because chatbot knows that I'm still asking about Anna. And this is a dialogue because I can ask next and more questions. And unless I will change the employee I'm asking about, or I will completely change the topic, and for example, I want to see vacation form, chatbot knows what is the context. If I will change the name, chatbot will change the context. So this is a simple dialogue we implemented in the case of scenario of employees. And of course, we have in our plans more scenarios like that, especially for questions related to IT support, when I can ask for how to change password, I have problem with this and that, and there is a natural opportunity to ask more questions related to specific topic. It's very important, area. Anyway, and now you can change slide. Perfect. So here you have a table of all use cases which are already working or are under progress, and we are going to deliver them soon. Some of them you already saw in the previous screen, but let's take a look what we have here. First one, the most important, employees information, like what is the phone number to John Smith, the most common case. The second one, responsibility for ownership of IT systems and services, like an example with ServiceNow or Jira or whatever. Interesting thing here is also that you can ask questions like, what is business, who is business owner, who is technical owner, etc. So chatbot understand the difference. Of course, it reflects the data source we are indexing under the hood. Other things, HR forms, sick leave, childcare, holiday, things like that. Questions related to IT support and knowledge base, this is something still planned, not implemented. I mean, we started that, but it's still under progress. But probably this is one of the biggest opportunities, also opportunity for automation. I guess Anna can agree with me, the main goal is to limit number of calls to team of help desk, right? So self-service. You can trigger enterprise search from chatbot level if you just want to make a full text search. You will be able soon to check your meetings in company calendar, which in case of Allegro is Google Calendar because they use G Suite as a company workplace. And other extensions like resource systems, like what equipment do I have assigned, what is a pin for my card or whatever. And the last one, quite interesting, is that we are creating a feature for business-oriented people, like, for example, Anna, to create simple intentions in their own without our role and without any coding. So, for example, if someone wants to add a question like telephone number to Allegro's reception, there will be a web interface to create such simple question answers, and chatbot will automatically use that and will be able to respond this kind of questions. I think that the most important thing I would like to highlight is that you can express questions in different ways. Nothing is hard-coded. There are no rules or triggers. So this is where we are doing natural language understanding. It analyzes intention and tries to map to proper action. Depending on scenario, we see different accuracy of the solution from 75% to 90 and more %. So it depends, but in the end, it's never-ending work to optimize this kind of solutions and accuracy and effectiveness. Anna, can you change slide? Perfect. So going further, high-level architecture, which is, I think, quite typical from one hand, but also I wanted to pay attention to something. So i3 provides services for connecting with data repositories, services for processing, indexing. In the middle, we have, of course, open source engines like Solar for full text searching and Rasa for conversational solutions mentioned already by Anna. From the right side, you can see retrieval APIs separated for full text searching because we started our journey with Allegro from enterprise search integrated with their intranet and separated API for chatbot. And this is what I wanted to highlight, and also what proves our title of the presentation, from search to chatbot, is that you really can have one platform that can be used for different, let's say, information retrieval solutions, right? Because enterprises is one solution, chatbot is another. They share some of the software blogs, they share some of the interfaces, some of the data, etc. The message is that under the hood, you need to have information platform, and you can have different end applications for your users, employees, whatever. Anna, can you change slide? The last one, our lesson learned, which is a combination of Anna's thoughts and mine, is that workshop at the beginning. It's crucial. You need to have a clear business case for chatbots, because sometimes building chatbots can be vague or a little unclear. So really, I mean, you can have long-term vision for even for a few years, but always start with relatively narrow scope. Because it will be much more easier to start and also convince people with money to spend this money on chatbot. Watch out for the language. Some of the languages, example, Polish, may require a little more effort than, for example, English, of course. We have a really nice declination in Polish language, which changes the forms of almost all words, nouns, verbs, etc. So it can be challenging, but of course there are models, language models for that. And be prepared for troubles with surnames. Simple example is, imagine name John River, and the river is also a common word in your language model, so it can really play tricks for you. So pay attention to that. Especially, like we said, employees, searching for employees is one of the most important cases. Human language is ambiguous, so the projects that are using natural language understanding, to some extent, we can say that they are endless. So acceptance tests need to be based on accuracy metrics, on statistical metrics. It's really good to define them at the very beginning stage of the project, because it's important. If we say we handle natural language processing, there are unlimited number of ways how you can ask your questions, right? So that's why you need to have really good metrics to prove and be sure that it's working in, I don't know, 90% of cases. Fallback, also quite challenging thing. Pay attention to that. Maybe it sounds a little silly when I say about that, when I'm talking about that, like, because when user asks question which is out of the scope of the chatbot or has no sense, we should just answer, sorry, I can't answer that question. Simple, right? But unfortunately, from technical reasons, it's not always so simple. So yeah, be careful and think a lot about chatbot fallback. And the last one, I think it's quite general rule that don't oversell, and it's up to vendors and up to your internal colleagues. Don't oversell anything. Natural language processing or machine learning is not a magic, it's math. So you really need to understand how it works, create narrow scopes, and be clear about expectations. That's all from us. Thank you very much. And I think that it's time for Krzysztof, who will talk more about chatbots and more about Rasa. So thank you one more time, and welcome, Krzysztof. Yes?
Yeah, okay, good. So we just heard that you can actually connect chatbot with i3, and it actually works. So you probably started to think about potentials there. So let's talk about them a little more. First of all, before we get into details, let's set some background. Chatbot is an interface, a user interface, just like the buttons, tiles, or any other controls. It is efficient and effective user interface, but it is still an interface. But what do we gain when we get this interface? Well, first of all, we change the machine language, like a query language, into a very natural way of talking. So instead of writing a program, you can actually ask the system to do something for you. Actually, as a programmer, I prefer the first one because it's clean and short, but I guess not all of your users are programmers. But much more fun with the chatbot is something that Tomasz already showed, that the bot can understand from, we can see there, and the bot answers that it is recommended to see the London Eye. But then we ask, what else can I see there? And the bot will understand not only that we are still talking about London, but will also remember that we like to use the technology called Rasa for chatbot, and there are multiple reasons for that. First of all, it's an open source software, and it doesn't mean only that it's free, It also means that we have full control on what it does. If we have any doubts on how the text is processed, we can actually look into the source code and understand it very clearly. It can be also installed on your premise, and it may be important if you don't really want Facebook or Google to analyze what your user talk about. It's also very flexible framework. Basically, Rasa is a pipeline of building blocks, and these building blocks are sometimes out of the box, or you can write your own components. But since it is built based on components, there are many components that you can quickly use and create your first chatbot very easy. Actually, if you install Rasa on your computer, you have out of the box chatbot that you can actually chit chat with. So how do we process message in Rasa? First, we want to parse the message. This is a phase where we can, for example, fix the errors that the user made. We can also convert the words into their basic form, and we can even expand the abbreviation and acronyms. Then we try to detect keywords or entities, like in the previous example, when we ask about things to see in London. London is a city, and we want the chatbot to understand that this is a city. And in third phase, we actually get the actual fun, because the trained digital brain tries to understand what the user means. Actually, this is a very challenging thing. I very often cannot understand what people mean and what is their intention. So good luck, chatbot. And once chatbot understands the intent, it has to decide what will be the reaction. The general architecture that we use is that we collect messages from the user through common channels. We already know that we can do that with Slack, but Rasa has native connectors to Facebook or Google+. Then Rasa processes the user message, and once it decides what to do with the user message, it sends a request to something called Action Server. Action Server is part of Rasa infrastructure, but it is a separate server that actually performs an operation that is ordered by Rasa. In our case, it can be, for example, search in i3. Sometimes we want to put additional interface between the user and Rasa to get some more pre-processing on message, or introduce some more interface options like buttons, tiles, or even voice recognition. So I will talk about some use cases here. First use case is the most simple one. The user wants to search something. So basically, the user sends a question, Rasa processes it, and converts it to terms and filters. And Action Server, based on these terms and filters, sends the query to i3, and back i3 sends the search result, and it is converted to natural language response for the user. But we can also collect all the information we need before sending the query to i3. For example, if we want to find a flight for us, we probably want to get the airport of origin, airport destination airport, date, hour, some preferences like class. So RASA chatbot can ask further questions if the user will not provide all the information until all the information is collected. And after that, when all the information is there, we can send the query to i3. We can also ask chatbot to actually perform some operations, to do something for us. In this form, in this configuration, we ask the question or we send the request to RASA. RASA forwards this in a form of action to Action Server. And Action Server first collects data from i3, and based on this data, requests some service to perform some action. So, for example, if we want to renew the agreements with vendors, the agreements that end next month, we can ask that our chatbot, and the chatbot first searches the agreements that end this next month, then collects the contacts to the vendors with these agreements. And when all the information is collected, it can set the meetings in our calendar. And after that, confirms this in the form of response to us. But in this configuration, we can actually automate a lot of work of our users. So we can see that, as Anna said, the work can be performed more efficiently. But let's go further. We can ask a chatbot to perform multiple actions in multiple services. So imagine you have an incident registering system. The user says to the chatbot that there is an incident. The chatbot asks about the details of incident, and once all the information is collected, first the Action Server sends the confirmation to the user, then it opens a ticket in our incidents registering system, then it searches for the configuration of the impacted components in i3. Once it collects the information, it sends the alert to the system administrator about the incident with all the collected data. And for example, let's add logs from our Elasticsearch logs management system in Kibana as a link. Sorry. I think I'm getting too excited when I talk about these kind of potentials. Let's cool down and let's show one more use case. So i3 can be also used as a supporter for our chatbot. If we want the chatbot to be more intelligent, for example, I said that we want to recognize the entities or keywords in our chatbot. How about searching for them in i3? This way, we make sure that we don't search any name or any of the city. We just look for the cities and names that are actually in the database. This way we can reduce the number of searched entities, and we make the bot more efficient. But we can store other information also that helps our RASA chatbot. For example, the knowledge base, the knowledge graph. We can use a knowledge graph to support the chatbot and make the chatbot dialogues to be steered by the context that is found in a knowledge graph. We can also provide some additional information before we decide what is the intention of the user. So, for example, if we know that the user is in a specific department, we can add this information to RASA because to the message that the user sends, because two users from two different departments asking the same question may mean something else. But we can, of course, create any hybrid configuration. We can, for example, use i3 in understanding the user message or controlling the dialogue. And also we can use i3 as data storage or data interface for our action server. So we can see that chatbot significantly improve communication with the user, and the user can actually work more effectively and efficiently. This kind of interface also open new potentials in our interaction with between user and the system. And finally, we can see that the dialogue interface, like a chatbot, is actually a very natural extension to the search system. And that would be all from me. Thank you for your time. And
thank you, Christoph. Yeah. Great.
Okay, right. Well, let's begin then. I usually, when I do this, I haven't done this on online platform. I'm used to be able to see and read the audience. So feel free to add a comment or cough any now and then. Yes, so like Joachim said, that selling group, they wanted to I'm stepping in for Tina and Ismail, who was supposed to do this presentation. So hopefully I will I'll be able to get everything that they wanted to say. So first, a little about selling group. Probably not everyone is familiar with who they are. A little about me and some of the interesting things that we did with selling group. Especially contextual search, and a little about how we set up and something we see down the pipeline. Yes, so who is selling group? Well, they are the owner of a lot of these shops that you probably are already familiar with. Retail shops, Netto, I think that's present in a few countries now. Grocery shops, selling, of course. Bilka is one of the largest shops in Denmark. Not sure they expanded abroad. And Føtex, Whoopty, and BR, the toy shop. And they have a few other. They're running Starbucks coffee in Denmark, and Carl's Jr.'s also, and also smaller shops, online shops. But about 50,000 employees and 1,500 shops. Salling Group acquired the former Dansk Supermarket and a few years ago, and so that's what they are now. And also a little about me. Name is Espen, and I've been working with Findwise for I think a few years now, 7, 8 years, since 2013, 7 years, and I've been working with Salling Group since 2015. So why are we a Salling Group? The first thing we did was to we were hired to look at their infrastructure because they had a huge pain on Black Friday, especially. They would go down in about 10 in the morning and struggle to keep up for the rest of the day. So our job was to find a way to allow more throughput with approximately the same hardware and the same bandwidth. And we did that, of course, using search. So our first iteration was to transform their infrastructure just to use the search engine. And we did that the first year, and they were happy. So I think we waited until the evening before they crashed instead of in the morning. Then we kept improving that, and on the second iteration, we changed the infrastructure again, not to just use Solar underneath, but also to use i3 Search Service, which meant that we were able to really speed up the development of adding new cool features. We were able to separate Hybris e-commerce platform from search, which also meant that we could scale the search separately and reducing the hardware once again. And we didn't need an entire storefront now serving both the web shop and the backend. So this was sort of a game changer, and that's where the interesting features now began to emerge. Yes. So some of the interesting features here is, well, first of all, the Solar is sort of the core in their backend. Everything evolves around the data that is in their search index, and they have a few use cases for them on the regular shops. So one of them is just to serve their search results. Then another use case is to display their product detail pages. So when you click on an item and you want to either add to basket or to read about it, that's also powered by i3. And then, of course, their query completion is powered by i3 Search as well. But then again, here comes one of the problems, and that is that they have so many products on, especially Bilka, and the assortment is so diverse. So everything from wine to furniture to auto shampoo to a variety of electronics is in the same index, and we should be able to give a user the right products whenever they search, and that can be difficult because what we basically have is about the product name, the category, and the brand. Those are the three important things, and we need to balance these three fields against each other, and we were unsuccessful in doing that. And maybe we also figured that we couldn't do that in a fair way, because whenever we did something raised the importance of one of these. It had some side effects where if we wanted to boost for iPhones, then we couldn't find TVs or something else happened. So that's why we figured out that we needed to come up with a new way to do relevancy. Yes. And so that is the contextual search. I will come back to that. We also have some lemmatization, synonyms, all of what we need. And we also have a way to evaluate whenever we deploy something, what the impacts in relevancy is. So we can have a number of how good is our search. And so we can say, is a search better than before, or is it gotten worse, by calculating the fitness of the entire search. So yes, so the motivation for this contextual search was, this is an example of TV. So this is how the result page looks before we had this. When you search for TV, you can see there's a lot of things that has TV in the name, or perhaps in the category or the brand, but they are not what you would expect. So the search engine doesn't have any concept of TV. It just has the concept of words. The same goes for cykler, and that's bicycles in Danish. We have a lot of things about bicycle accessories, but nothing, but you would probably expect actual bikes when you search for bikes. So what did we do? So we had this contextual search where we defined that we had a set of documents or products representing a concept. So that could be every product that is a TV represents the concept of a TV. And then the contextual search would then be to classify your query to belong to one of these contexts. And then again, the last thing would be to promote products that we found was within this context. And if we just scroll back to this picture, I am going to show you how it looks today. So the UI has changed a bit, but as you can see, we now get TVs when we search for TV, and that was lucky. And let's see for bicycles, it is the same. Oh, we do have a learner bike here, but that's okay. So how this works, if I'm out of time, I might not explain how it works, but if you imagine that you want to grab some candy, you're only interested in the green ones, then the search engine will then try to decide when they see your handful, which one were you trying to grab for. And it would expect that you would have some false positives where you get some reds, you get some browns, but you would have mostly green. And by calculating the number in total with the error and the recall, that is how we are going to get these results. So we are not using anything that is semantically close to TVs or bicycles or whichever context we define, but we are just using purely statistical model to see this. Yes, so that is it for contextual search. So the way we set up at i3, our i3 at them is we have a products connector, categories and brand connector, and then we just throw that goes to index service and into processing and later Solar. So that's pretty straightforward. We have programmatic configuration, which means now that we can actually add as many sites as we want very easily, just by adding one line of code every time we want a new store to be set up. So that means that we're able to expand to a lot of stores pretty fast. We changed the underlying database from MongoDB to Postgres, mostly because they were more comfortable in maintaining Postgres database. And I'm guessing that's it.
Great, Espen. We got a question from Anna, who
Yes.
asked if this contextual search functionality was done without editors, or is it a purely technical solution?
You need to repeat that because you
I can
connection was-
repeat that. The
Yeah.
question is, this contextual work as a search, is
Yes.
this purely technical, or is this the result of an editor manually making changes?
Well, the editor in this case is me, because but there is some editorial things in this. You need to be able to define the contexts, and that's the editorial part. So we need to select all the products, for instance, for TV. That will be a search query where we can select all TVs. So you will have to have some knowledge about the category structure and how to slice the index. And then the other part is the technical part, where we create this algorithm and we set the weights for it. But if you're able to define queries where you get where you can select these products, then I guess it's a purely editorial solution after this. Hope that answers the question.
I hope so too, Espen. Thank you very much. The next step in this will be a short workshop. What's going to happen now is that you all are going to be sent into different rooms. This will be done automatically, and if not, it's an easy task to actually move into a room. Wow, amazing. I hope
it's always 2 minutes too short. We have these kind of sessions, but it was very, very nice. Yeah.
Good. So I really hope you had a great chat and came to some conclusions. And I'll give the word back to Johan to talk a little bit about the roadmap.
Thank you. I will try to keep the last couple of minutes short. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what's happening next. And I know there's a lot going on in this picture, but I hope that's fine. So, when you type a search query to the search engine, you know that when you get immediate feedback on that, often this feedback is whole sentences. And sometimes these sentences are from content, and sometimes it's from title, and they can be good or they can be bad, right? What if instead of these random sentences, you will get suggestions on things that we know exist in your content? Similar to the idea of a chatbot, I think. And that's a little bit what we're trying to do here. This is what we're working on right now. So what it's about is that we populate a graph of the data that you have in your systems when we collect the data. And when we have the data in this graph, we can query these relationships. So in this example, we have vehicles. So we have selected Volkswagen and Volvo, and we added a large number of fake models apparently. But what this allows us to do is that this allows us to query or to write queries that are natural in human language. Say that I want Volvo with color red, or I want the Volkswagen with manual transmission. And I think we could take this to other domains as well. I mean, imagine that we'd had this where I want wine with a taste of vanilla. And we would only get this suggestion if we had wines that tasted like vanilla, or colleagues with engineering background. So I think this is a really exciting way to formulate queries based on graph properties based on your data. So this is what we're currently working on. And if we take a step ahead, it's three things. It's the ambition to make it easier to create new connectors, because we do a lot of integrations with a lot of different systems, and the better we can make this, the more time we will be able to save in projects and the more things that we can reuse for future use cases. We also have a content inbox where we receive information, and today this is a single entity, and we have the desire to make this scalable so that we can put it behind a load balancer, so we can achieve higher throughput and we can achieve higher availability in the odd case that one instance would be unavailable. And the last thing that we think is really important is to cater to whomever is maintaining the solution after it's put into production. So this is often the role that we talk about, the search editor. So we want to improve the search experience management, or we want to improve the tooling that the search editor can use to make sure that the information quality can continue to remain high over time. And that's what I wanted to show you real quickly. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I would like to hand over to Joachim for a couple of finishing words.
Sure. Thanks, Johan. And of course, I mean, looking at the roadmap and the features that you are presenting, that will be ahead. The first question that pops into my mind is when to upgrade. Should I wait for the new features, or should I contact my contact at Findwise before summer even?
Yeah, and if I can add to that, I did a little bit of preparations in advance. I'm gonna go ahead a little bit here, and I did a what's it called, information flow to help us out, and I made it as simple as I possibly could, because we talked about the some of the recent improvements that we have made and why these are important from a security perspective and from a maintenance perspective and other things. So we think that unless you are super interested in this graph completion, this graph thing that I just showed you, I think that right now is a good time to upgrade.
Great. We will take that with us. At least I will. I had some other insights, and one that's not new, that would be from the first presentation, where we don't want to oversell AI, NLP, machine learning, Like Thomas said, it's just math. It's nothing fancy. Use it when it should be used, and don't call it something it isn't. We learned from selling that if you are selling bicycles, always use contextual search. Learned a few other things as well, but that's definitely a taking for me. And another taking is that this format, it actually works. I think that refining a little bit how we do it until next year. I hope to see all of you back, and we make sure to get a few more customers, a little bit longer time in the workshop groups, and I think we're set for another year in the i3 network. So by that, thank you all people that has presented, and all customers and Findwise wizards joining in. And remember, give your Findwise contact a call before summer, and don't be surprised if they try to call you to sort of set up the next meeting with us. So by that, have a great summer, everybody, and thank you very much for today.
Thank you.